All right, so we're going to talk about how to mint NFTs on Solsea. Now, one of the things you'll notice if you've done this before, if you created your own collection on Solsea, you're going to notice that minting is something that does take quite a while, and it's not really because of Solsea, it's because of the SOL blockchain. So we're going to show you how I do it in around 30 minutes for 10. We'll see how much I can get done in 30 minutes. But the way I do it is I basically just create 10 tabs at a time. I can maybe do more, but I do 10, and so I have 10 tabs open right now with the minting. So basically they're just 10 tabs that are mint to mint. I just go create NFT, and then I just go open 10 tabs like that, right? Then what I do is I take my my title for my collection that I'm trying to do, and I put that inside the title right over here, which is pretty standard stuff, and I just do that in every single one of these like that, right? So this is 91, this one here is 92. So I just do that on each of the tabs, and that way I'm not wasting time minting them all one at a time and waiting for everything to happen, right? So this is and that it's faster to cut and paste in each of these tabs like this, right? So 95, we have 96 over here, we have 97 over here, 98 and 99, and then 100. So this is basically what I do, and I do 10 at a time. And I'm, like I said, I don't know how many we're going to get to do in 30 minutes, but hopefully we get to do 10 in 30 minutes. Then what I do is I upload the preview, and because I'm doing this the way that I've got my folders structured, I have these set up like this. I can see that it's 99, 91, so I just go to 91 and I get 91, and then I go to the second tab, and this one here is 92, so I get 92. So we just go through each of the images like this, each of the tabs I should say, one after the other. 93 is number 3, number 4 is 94, whoops, I gotta click on here, 94, and then 95. So I'm just doing each of the images, the small images, or the preview image, right, for each of them. Then we're at 96 over here. Next one is 97, and the reason I do it this way is because this way I don't have to go back and forth scrolling through folders, going up and down and making sure that I have the right image. This is always in the right folder because they're all in the same folder. That's just the way I generated them, right? Which is pretty much how all tools would do it anyways, although you might have the same files, or the smaller version and the full version in the same folder, which makes it a little harder to find them. But in my case I have them in separate folders. So now that I have the preview image, I go down now to the artwork image, and I do the same thing here. So in this case, as you can see, I'm not in the right folder, so I go back to the actual folder where I know my full-size images are, and I get them based on the number that I'm on. So we see that we're at 92, I get 92 right over here, and then over here we see that we're at 93, so I get 93, I do 93, then I do 94. Is this the next one, right? 94. Now obviously you could do the same thing with your animated. If you have an animated image as well, you could certainly do the same thing. So we're doing 94. Is this 94? Was it 94? Yes, it was 94. Now we do 95, and 95 is this one here. 96, do 96. After we've done the images, then I do the description, and I do that quickly by doing a cut and paste of all of them on the same field on every single tab. Then I go to the next field, do the same thing on every single tab. You're going to see what I mean in a minute here. So 98, now we have 99, 99, and then the last tab is 100, right? We've got a tab of 100 right here, 100, and there we go. So now we have our 10 images. They're all uploaded. The reason why I start with the number is because I always want to make sure I know which one I'm on, so that way it makes it easier for me to go back and forth. So I'm going to take the short description, I just copy it, I paste it here, I go to the next tab, I paste it here, go to the next tab and paste it in the short description field. As I said, I just go to this field and I paste it in there on every single tab, and that's basically how I do it. I keep going like this, going to the next tab and then the next tab until we've done all the tabs with the short description, right? So then after that I'll do the next one, which will be the description, I guess the long description, right? Go back to the first tab, I got the long description, get that copied over here, paste that in there, go back here, paste that in here, over here again, every single tab I just paste that inside the description. Keep going in the description, keep going in this description, the description, right? We do that in the description. Then I do the royalties. So I do the royalties, I want 10%. In my case, obviously the royalties is really up to you. This is secondary sale commissions whenever the your NFT is resold to somebody else, right? After you whoops, it's over here, 10. So royalties, gotta make sure I put it in the right field, right? Back through here, royalties, over here is 10% is royalties. I'll make sure I have the royalties all set correctly in every single tab. And like I said, you could maybe do more tabs. I'm not sure whether there would be an impact, but you'll understand why we're doing these in these tabs like this in a moment when I get to the end where we're going to actually do. Then I have the external URL, again same thing, it's another field that we're just going to put the same value and go through all the tabs. And you'll notice I did a few errors there with some of them. I'll just fix it as I go, make sure that the external URL is just the URL, which it should be in most cases. Go like this, external URL, external URL, and there we go. All right, so now all the fields are filled except for the tags. So the tags you can't actually cut and paste, so I actually memorize them, I've done them often enough. You don't have to type all the letters, you can type a few letters and then just press enter because it's on the one by default, and I just know all these like this, so I just enter them except for art, which there's multiple, so I can't actually just press enter, and then I choose the collection. So I do that. On the next one we're going to do the same thing here, to the collectible, and then we have picture, we have drawing, we have image, and we have digital, and then we have art and art with pixel art, the collection. So make sure you choose the collection, because if you don't choose the collection you might end up with a NFT that needs to be burnt, which means deleted, I guess, because every time you actually, whenever you mint, you're basically uploading your image or your drawing or your art to the blockchain, directly on the blockchain, the SOL blockchain in the case of Solsea, and once it's there, it's there, you can't change it, right? So the only way you can change it is to burn it, which means delete it, and the way that happens is you send it off to a reachable address, and that essentially burns it or deletes it, and there's always a cost, right, to do that, very small cost, pennies. What did I do here? No, that's, whoops, image, digital art. I got art now. Okay, yeah, so basically what happens is you burn it and you end up sending it to an address that doesn't exist, so that's deleting. Then you have to recreate it again with the right information, so you got to be careful to do it right the first time, which obviously as I'm doing this and I'm talking, I might make mistakes, but hopefully I won't, but you never know, right? And that's the thing, you got to be careful of doing this. But you gotta, so the way I do it to go quickly is to just go have multiple tabs open at the same time and just enter everything in all the tabs in a way that's just a cut paste right kind of thing, so that it's all done as quickly as it can be done. And then after it's all this basics is done, right, then I can go on to the actual minting, and you'll see in a moment why this helps. Because I can tell you right now, I guess basically it helps because the time it takes for your transaction to be approved, or your transaction to actually make it to the blockchain, sometimes takes minutes. So if you're just sitting there waiting for that to be done, you're going to be wasting a lot of time, right? Whereas if you have multiple tabs going at the same time like this, you can actually send one to mint, and then you go to the next one. While the one is minting, you're basically entering the information for the next one, right? And that's what I do, and that's how I've been minting these really quickly compared to lots of other people, right? And that's, you know, there's an advantage to that, obviously, but I want to automate it, obviously, but right now at least this allows this to be done as quickly as possible with the current methods that are available on Solsea, on the Solsea marketplace, right? There's limits to human interaction like this. Obviously humans can make mistakes, and there's a speed involved, you know, at how fast you can actually go, right? So this is pretty much the fastest you can go that I'm doing right now, as you can see. And basically we're on number 10 here. We're entering the tags for number 10, or the tags for searching, right? And we're gonna go to the last step, which is actually entering the attributes of each of the items in the collection, right? So now we've got all the tags done. Now we're ready to go to there. So we took 11 minutes to fill in most of the information on each of the tabs. So now we go to items. So now I check up here, I'm on number 91, and then I go to my list, and I have all my attributes all organized like this. So I just copy this and I paste this over here, and then I go to the next attribute, the next trait, right? They call them traits, which are basically attributes, right? They're, you know, definitions, if you will, of the objects, of the drawings. So we go like this, and we do this over here. We keep going. After this is done, obviously this is the last part before we actually mint it. So I'm just going to go like this, and then it would not have taken, it would have taken about the same amount of time to enter the information just for one, right? It wouldn't have taken much of a difference to do just one, right? So this is why this helps to do it faster, because it does take less time for the next ones because they're already prepared, right? So now we got to make sure we have all the information right. We've got the license, we've got the tags, we've got the royalties set, the external URL, description, all that. Then we click on the mint, which will of course request us to approve the transaction, and we will just approve it, and it will go on, and then we go to the next one. So now we do the next one, number 92. We're on 92 over here, and we just take these, paste them in here. And as you know, if you've done minting before, you know that right now the first one that I did is in the process of uploading to Arweave. So the first transaction is being approved, and if that succeeds, then we'll have a pop-up for the next the minting approval, right? So that will have to be approved as well, but that's just going to show up while we're working. And that's the cool thing about this. You don't have to worry about necessarily checking all the time. Although if it failed, we wouldn't know, or we'd have to go back. That's why we kind of have to go back to the tab if that happens, and you'll see, I'm sure, throughout this whole process, it definitely happens multiple times that this minting fails. The Arweave upload fails, I guess, or that transaction, I should say, fails, right? Because it's all based on transactions on the blockchain, and that's kind of how it works. I'll make sure I got all this here, royalties, everything's there. We just mint this one. So now we're minting number 2. You can also check to make sure that the numbers, I have numbers on all the images, so you can check that both of those files that got uploaded have the same number. See, this one failed, so I'm just going to click here to close that. I'm going to mint it again, and I'm just going to tell it to approve this minting transaction. As long as the minting hasn't happened, this will always it'll be fine to retry, right? So now we're on number 93, so we do the third one. So let's do the third one. I know I talk a lot, but I kind of don't want this to be, you know, dead air while I'm doing this, so that that's kind of why I keep jabbering about. And so that's, and by the way, this collection that I'm doing right now, the Genesis unicorns on Solsea, they're the first collection in the Unicorniacs collection. The Unicorniacs will have at least 3 collections. That's the plan right now. We're going to be minting 3 collections, and we're also part of a bigger collection set which is called the NEACs. The NEACs are going to be other sub collections, which will be, there will be the dinosaur NEACs, there will be the fairy NEACs, there will be the bunny NEACs, there might be others as well, but they're all going to have similar kinds of collections, similar kind of ideas, and they'll all have 3 collections each, and they will all have more collections. They'll all have an initial release, and then they'll have another collection with more and that kind of stuff. So that's all going to be very common to the 3 types of the NEACs. So that's what this is going to be into. This will be the Unicorniacs is actually the first collection in the NEACs, and the Genesis unicorns is the very first collection in the whole of all the NEACs. So if you want to be part of the very beginning, you definitely want to get yourself one of the Unicorniacs, one of the Genesis unicorns, I should say. So these are failing. This one is minting, this one is uploading to Archive. Okay, so now we're on number 4 which is 94, I should say 94, which we get the background here, we paste that in here. So I don't know if you noticed, but what I'm doing is I'm basically taking this, selecting it with my mouse, pressing Control C to copy it, going over here, pressing Control V to paste it, double clicking on here, pressing Control X, backspace to erase the equal sign, then pasting it here with Control V, right? So I'm just doing Control C, Control V. Oops, I guess that didn't work. Let's go back. Where were we? Main is rainbow. I messed that up. So main is rainbow. We want to do a Control C over here, then over here we do a Control V, double click, Control X, backspace, and Control V over here, right? And we want to approve this transaction as well. So that's kind of how I'm doing it. So you can also, of course, go right click on here, do copy with your mouse. Whoops, I did a cut. Right click and copy, go over here, right click and paste, double click here, right click and cut, backspace to erase the equal sign, and right click and paste, right? You can do that like that too if you want. I just find that using the keyboard is faster, so I just do that with the keyboard. There we go. And of course, me explaining it to you makes me make a few little mistakes like you saw, but yeah, so that's kind of how I'm doing it at this speed, if you will, right? And then we have extra, which is none. In my case, I just have an extra attribute, which you certainly don't have to have, and me, it's just because some of them have extra unique features, and that's just the name of the attribute for that. And let's just approve this. Let's go back again to the other ones. Oops, approve this one too. Go back here. This failed again. So this is the reason why it doesn't. I did have a successful minting of 10 NFTs in about 30 minutes once, or maybe twice, right, over the period of the week here, but it seems like most times it fails enough that it does take longer. And this one is still going. These are all going. There we go. So number 95 now. So we have 95. Let's get 95 done. So hopefully we're going to get to mint these. Right now we're on 95, which is the 5th in the bunch of 10. We're at 19 minutes, so we're definitely not going to make the 30-minute mark here either. This is actually the second video that I recorded of this, so it's kind of interesting to see that I cannot make this in my 30 minutes that I was hoping for. And So there, types eyes, whoops, eyes, the eyes are red. That's a rare trait in my unicorns. And the horn is black. Over here we have a black horn. Let's get that there, paste it over here. And the hoofs are black. I think it's hooves, is it? Maybe it's hooves. Anyways, I call them hoofs. It doesn't really matter, it's just a name and an attribute, right? But maybe it's not spelt right. I should have probably looked that up. There we go. Mint this guy. And this is number 5, really 95, but number 5 in my series that I'm trying to mint here, which if I could possibly get some of these to mint properly, the transactions to fit into the blockchain. So in case, I don't know if you know this or you know how this works, but basically what we're doing here, this process of minting, the process of look at that, this one succeeded. The process of minting is basically putting some data in the blockchain, right? So putting some data in the blockchain, and what that means is it basically means adding a block in the blockchain. So to add a block in the blockchain, basically you're sending data using these tools, these wallets and that kind of stuff. What they do is they send a block, or not a block, they send a record, or I forget, I think there's a specific name for that, but basically they send a record that's in that goes to a node. You know, the blockchain is just a big piece of data, and that data is shared amongst thousands of computers on the internet. They're part of the miners, they call them miners, the computers that add data to the blockchain, and they have to fight for the right to be the ones that actually put the new block on the blockchain. And this fight happens with mathematical formulas, that what they do is they try to figure out the I guess a key, they call it a key, to add the next block. And the first node that figures out what key will add a block, will allow them to add a block to the chain, to the blockchain, wins. And when they win, they are rewarded some cryptocurrencies, right? So they are rewarded cryptocurrencies, and they basically and then that has a value, and right, so that's kind of getting paid to do it, right? And what happens is there could be 20 different nodes that are trying to take the data I sent here. When I say signed transaction, when I say mint, I'm basically sending out a record out in the blockchain to the nodes. And the first, if my record doesn't get, if the node that my record gets sent to isn't the one that wins, then my record doesn't get added. So that's why there's no charge, that's why there's no there's no errors, right? So that's why it doesn't matter if this happens and you do it again, you're not charged until it actually succeeds, because succeeding means it got added to the actual blockchain as a block. And that means that there's a you know, that you have a transaction in the blockchain that's yours, that you paid for. And so that's why you can keep retrying until it succeeds, right? So I know I'm talking a little bit more here, but it's kind of like I said, to feel the air. So we're on 97 over here, and there's only 3 left, so we're not going to make it to the 30 minutes, but we have made it to 97 at the what is it, 24-minute mark. So it's not too bad. Let's see over here, and then let's keep going. Let's try to keep going, try to do this quickly without making any mistakes. Whoops, the type was pink. Why did that not happen? Oh, that's why, because the wallet popped up, and that took over my keys, so my paste didn't work. I should have watched. So that's what happens if I'm in the middle of doing this cut and pasting and all that in here, right? If the wallet pops up, then my my keyboard stops working, because I'm not it's a focus thing, right? It's part of how the computer works. So let's just get this done here. Let's do that, and then the extra and the extra is none again. Most of these have extra none. As you see, there's some that have extra glasses. There's also extra hats, and there's another extra, which is some other I've got 4 different kind of extra things. I'll show them to you when we get to the end. I can kind of show you the process here. So I'm going to do 98 over here. $98. Oh, actually there are 3 now, because it's 98, 99 and 100. So we're at the 26 minute now. So it's taking about 2 minutes to fill these things in. So if I was to do the math to enter all the data, it would be and hopefully I don't make any mistakes, because as you see right there, I didn't copy the whole thing properly, right? So we'll just do this through the horns now. Approve that. Then we do the hoofs over here. And the extra is none. All right, extra is none. We have everything filled in properly. Let's click on mint, and we mint number 98, and then we have number 99 and 100. So we have 2 left. Let's actually go back here and do these again. That's the thing, if these actually succeeded, right, it would certainly take less time, because as you can see, I have to go back to the tabs and approve these and re-upload them. This basically uploads them to Solsea, and then Solsea wants it signed, because you got to pay for the storage, and then it goes to Arweave, right? And that's when it succeeds on Arweave, that's when you get the processing mint transaction, which is the next I guess the next transaction. There's 2 transactions that you need to approve. Transactions as in money transfers, right, as in fees paid, and that is the upload to Arweave and the minting. So both of those, the minting basically means putting it right in the blockchain, putting your actual NFT in the blockchain, whereas the upload to Arweave is just storage, right? So as you can see, we have a few of them that are done, and let's go to the number. This is number 99, and then we have just 2 more, I guess, right now. So we're on minute number 28. So I guess it is kind of taking 2 minutes, even though I have to go back. It seems like it's taking about 2 minutes per per NFT right now, given the number of traits I have. I've seen other NFTs that have like a lot more traits, so I can just imagine how long it takes for for the authors to do this or to upload them. There might even be a better way to do it, but like I said, this is the way to do it when you're doing it manually through the interface, through the web, and it's the fastest way I found to do it. And hopefully this helps you to find a faster way to do it if you have a lot to do, right? So that's kind of what I'm showing you this for. We're probably going to do other videos, right, where we show other things, how to do certain things. That there are other videos I already have. I'll be uploading some different videos to show you different steps in the process, and yeah, so that's kind of how this works. So we have this number 99 and 10 and license and assistant. Perfect. Let's make this one and then we're going to be almost and the last one. So let's go back here. Number 1, number 2, number 3, yay. Number 4, number 5, number 6, yay. Number 7 is still minting. Number 8 is done. Number 9 is still minting. Oh, wants an approval here. And then number 100, the very last one. We're at 30 minutes. Oof, we're on the last one at 30 minutes. That's actually pretty good. Pretty good. We're not done, but we're going to be pretty close, I think, to our goal of 30 minutes. So let's just do this over here. We got here, approve that. The main is rainbow. And then we have the eyes that are brown on this one. Then we have the horn, which is navy. Right. And we have the hoofs that are pink. The hooves, I'm not sure. The hooves, I'm not sure. I call them hoofs, which, you know, you can make fun of me, that's fine, it doesn't matter, I'm happy. And there we go. So now we have this 10, Genesis number 10, and of course there, let's go, let's do it. Number 10, we're at 31 minutes and we're actually minting the 10th one. And if I go back to the list, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, and then 9. Ooh, at least this one has approved so the upload to Arweave is approved. Now it's just the minting, and hopefully this minting will succeed. You never know, right? You never know, we might get lucky, we might get it all done. And then the next thing I do is I copy these into a document I have here. This is 91, right? Whoops, I want to approve this. Approve this too. I have 91 over here. Number 91. We have number 92, which is this one here. Number 92. Now obviously this is not part of the process of minting, but it's kind of me, I just kind of like to do that so I have the URLs easily accessible for my developers or my web designers or things like that. And so I have the URLs for all of them, right? Number 94, number 95, so it can be this one. I'll approve this. 95, number 96 is this one here. Number 97 is this one here. Number 98 is this one. Number 99 is this one. Is it done? No, it's not done yet. Number 99. Oh, number 100 is done. So now there's only one left. Number 100. So we only have one left. Come on, let's go. You can do it. You can do it. We're at 33 minutes. Oh, that's actually pretty close to our 30-minute goal. It's actually really good, really good. If this can complete, that would be fantastic. If this particular transaction actually succeeded. And as I said, right, the transactions, oh, it didn't work. So the transaction is actually being sent to a node, then the node is trying to fight all the other nodes to win so that it can add the transaction to the block, in the block that gets added to the blockchain. It's kind of a whole process here, but basically what happens is if the transaction that is sent to the node is not added to the block because the node does not win, then there's no charge, there's no change in your balance, there's no charges or anything like that. That's why you can just redo it, right? Because it didn't happen. But the first one, which is the upload to Arweave, this one has succeeded. This one was charged to your wallet. So if you cancel this, if you abort this now, if I, whenever it pops up, I say cancel instead of approve, then I basically will have paid for the upload, but I won't have minted my NFT. so you want to make sure you approve both, and you constantly retry until it's finished. And you know, there's a slight small, very small chance that your transaction will make it to the blockchain, even if it says it didn't, right? Because there's, you know, it's possible that there would be you know, a long delay or something. Normally there isn't. Normally it doesn't take this long but it is possible, so you got to keep that in mind as a possibility. Which, the thing that you have to remember too is that the cost of these transactions, I mean, if I go here and I go into create NFT in the new tab again, you can actually see how much this costs. If I upload, like, say one of these, right, this is going to cost me 0.00010302 SOL, right? So if I go here and I say how many USD for SOL, right, that'll tell me that it's 0.00028, so it's like 28 thousandths of a penny, right? So it's really nothing. It really doesn't cost anything really to do this. So this is the cost for the full res image. The thumbnail, this should have been the preview here, but this is the artwork, right? So if it really costs nothing. It's just pennies, right? So, you know, your wallet, you have to have some funds to do this, but you know, sometimes it's so you have to have funds in your wallet to do the minting. That's one thing that you have to do. And if you don't have any funds in your wallet, then it'll just give you an error. It actually doesn't tell you that there's no funds, it just keeps giving you an error. And that happened to me before. And the thing is that you end up maybe wondering, why is it failing, and then go check the balance on your wallet. If it's less than like 0.001, right, then you just don't have enough funds, because there is some gas fees, which is basically the network fee to do your minting. And so we're at, see how long it takes, 37. There we go, we did it, 37 minutes. So the other thing is, if you click on that too fast, sometimes you get a 404 error, so you can just go back and click on it again. But this is my number 99, which I'll paste right here, and there we go. We have all of these. And now if I go to, say for example, my Unicorn EX, I have actually 100 of them, or is it 100? Yeah, 100. Yeah, 100. I have 100 now, 100 minted unicorns. Actually, you can see that there's 4 down here instead of 5. That's because if I probably have to reload. If I reload it, is it going to show me the 100 now? No, I guess you might have to reload the wallet. It sometimes takes a few minutes before they actually all show up. But if I look at my wallet, by the way, the balance is one SOL now. But if I look at my wallet and I look at my NFTs in my wallet, I don't know, we should count them, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 rows times 5 is what? 12 times 5 is like 60, isn't it? 12 times 5, let's do the math here. 12 times 5, go to my calculator, I'm pretty sure that's 60. 12 times 5, yeah, 60. So if I just refresh, if I just reload my wallet, that's because I haven't loaded my wallet in a while. So you got to kind of do that, because you know the NFTs, they're in your wallet, which means they're in the blockchain, but it doesn't mean that the Solsea platform has all that data. That data doesn't always come. You're gonna have to fetch it again, right? So now we have 1 2 3 4 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20. So 20 rows times 5, that's 100, right? So now I have 100. There's 111 in the collection. There's only 11 left to do, so that's pretty exciting, because that means the collection will be all minted and will be ready for the launch on March 1st 2022. Make sure you get yourself one. Obviously it's sales pitch here, but make sure you get yourself one, because this will be the first collection in the Unicorn EX series of 3 collections, and also the first ever in all of the NEX collections. There's going to be Dragon EX, there's going to be dinosaur Nyax, there's going to be bunny Nyax, there's going to be fairy Nyax, and probably other Nyax as well. So all those will be all collection. This is the very first of all those collections. Right, enjoy. We'll see you in the next video.